Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel. So, haven't really been able to record for a while. I've just had a lot of things going on that I've had to do, and I have the windows open. I really hope that there's a lot of noise. I live in the city, so could be a lot of noise. But I just had a lot of stuff going on. And I really, the last episode was checking out. I really have been checked out, not just pretty much in general. I just been feeling checked out, and I always say I don't want to make an episode just to make one. I want to make sure it's making sense. And today I worked, and then I actually received a message, a DM from a new listener, and let me make sure I get her name correct. So her Instagram name is @SpenceTammyG, and her name is Tammy. So shout out to Tammy. She messaged me this morning. She said that I'll read it. Hopefully she's okay with me reading it. She said, I just started listening to your podcast, and honestly, I'm hooked. And you don't cuss either. That's debatable. And the way you blend the Most High God and the universe is great. I love the information and positivity you give. I'm still on a journey myself, and this is what I needed. I don't cuss on a regular, but I think once or twice, maybe on a random episode when I've got frustrated, I've said something. But I got this message this morning, and definitely was needed because it helped me. I've been feeling kind of blah lately, and just to have someone reach out and say that about my work is definitely helpful to me. So thank you, Tammy, for that. And because of that, I decided to make an episode today. So I hope that this resonates with people. And sometimes you just have to really, I don't know. I can't remember if I said that in the last episode, but I was saying how I saw this video and how it's sometimes when you don't feel like doing something that is your calling, but it's not always about you. It's about other people too. And like I said, today I did not feel like doing an episode, but her reaching out to me definitely helped and made me want to do one. So like I said, shout out to her, Tammy, for that. And I'm going to get started. So this episode is about a tweet that I saw that I felt resonated with me right now, and hopefully it probably can resonate with other people too. So I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to say why it resonated. So the tweet is, you're not late, you're on time. The process was preparation. Your journey doesn't have to look like anyone else's, and often will not match the timeline you created. Less shame and judgment, more breath, compassion, and acceptance. Now you're ready. And then that was one tweet, and then someone responded, your path is individual, and that's okay. If you work at your situation every day, eventually you'll get to where you want to be. The journey is your life. If you can enjoy it along the way, the process will become a life well lived. So I'm just definitely going to break that down, but overall, I felt I'm trying to think, what will I name this episode in this, preparation, maybe? That doesn't make sense. I'll think about it. But yeah, I thought this resonated with me and stuck out to me because lately I just been feeling I feel like I talk about that from the beginning, always feeling like you have to just trust the process, and like how sometimes you get into these times when you get frustrated because we live in a time now where everything is displayed on social media. Everyone, wants everything quick. And but you also realize there was actually this video that I saw on Instagram, and it was an older woman, and she was saying, comparing like cooking in the microwave versus on the stove, and it was, or like heating food up in the microwave versus on the stove, and how she was like, I don't know if she said the younger generation, but she was basically saying like when you heat your food up in the microwave, like yes, it will heat up faster, but it doesn't last as long. Like the food, like the heat and the warmth of the food usually doesn't last as long, and it doesn't make the food taste as good. Versus heating it up on the oven. Yes, it might take longer, but it will remain heated the entire time, and it will taste good the whole time. You get my drift? So I feel like that resonates with life too. She was basically saying, it's like when we try to do things quickly, sometimes you get what you want, yes, but will it last? Versus like taking your time and letting it heat up and marinate and, develop to what it's supposed to be, then it can last longer, So I feel like that resonates sort of with just life in general, when we have to take a time to let things grow organically and at its own pace, versus trying to do everything quickly just because like, it could be anything. Like, if you want to get married and, your friends are all getting engaged and you're like, dang, I haven't even gotten a boyfriend or something like that, or finishing school or having kids or anything, moving and getting a job, whatever. Everything is on your own time, and it'll work out on the time that God has for you. So you have to remember, like this tweet says, you're not late, you're on time. The process was preparation. Yeah, that's what preparation. Like usually when you know that you have something in mind and it's taking a long time, it's because God is preparing you for it. You're not ready yet. Like you need to, there's still more work you need to do to be prepared for when you get it. And your journey definitely does not have to look like anyone else's, because the thing about that is people have to remember that, like, when you see like people, I just got engaged or whatever, that's great, or they got married or anything like that may be something, that a milestone that you want to achieve. You don't even know what happens behind closed doors. You don't know what happens behind those pictures. Like, yeah, she might have got engaged, but dude might have also cheated on her like 4 or 5 times throughout the time of them dating, and she chose to deal with that. So it's like, if that's not what you're on, then yeah, maybe it's gonna take longer for you to find that person for you, because you do have high standards, or you do accept certain things, or like, okay, anything really, having kids, or getting married, or finishing school. Like, yeah, somebody might have finished earlier, but that's because maybe they racked up in loans. Meanwhile, you're taking your time and you're paying out of pocket. And that, yeah, you're going to get there. It's just, you can't compare and contrast your timeline to somebody else's, because you have no idea what someone else is going through during their process to get there. All you know is what you're going through, And I like how it says less shame and judgment, more breath, compassion, and acceptance. Now you're ready. Because I know I struggle with that sometimes. I had a conversation with my mom and my friend Gigi, and separate conversations, and they both like kind of reminded me to like take a step to like be thankful for what you have now, and be have gratitude. Like, I know I'm never not thankful. It's just like, I'm the type of person that I have so many things that I want to do, that once I accomplish one thing, I'm like, okay, on to the next. And I have to, like, sometimes you have to take a step back, and God will sometimes make you do that by just appreciating where you are right now. Because I feel like there's a quote, like, you have to remember what you sorry, hold on. Like, okay, where you are now, at one point you prayed to be there, so appreciate where you are right now, because a lot of things that you have now you didn't have before, and that was something that you were begging and praying for. So taking this time to take a breath and be compassionate of yourself and accept yourself, because that's something also that, like, when you're comparing and contrasting and you're like, oh man, I'm not there yet, or oh, it's just taking forever and maybe I'm never going to get there or something like that, you're not having compassion for yourself and you're not accepting yourself for where you are at this moment. You're never late, you're never on time, you're never not on time. Like, even when you do detour, God is still going to direct you to where you're always going to end up where you need to be, and you're always going to be on time. It's like the rabbit in Alice in Wonderland, right? I think he was always late or something like that. Like, you're never gonna be, you're never late. Like, everything happens at the right time. The thing is that we as humans think it's quote unquote late because we have society and whoever else pushing this agenda of, like, you're supposed to be this at this age, or you're supposed to have done this by this many years, and and there's no time is an illusion. Time is not God. There's no time universe has no time. Like, God doesn't go by that. God has his own time. So you're always on time. So just accept it. Breathe, have compassion for yourself, and be ready. Get ready. So the other part of it is your path is individual, and that's okay. I love that, because everyone's path is individual. Everyone has different goals from themselves, and focus on your own path. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing. If you work at your situation every day, eventually you'll get to where you want to be. It's very true. I remember someone told me about this picture, and I'm sure people have seen it, like, on social media. I think it's like a person, like, digging, trying to get to the gold, and I think it was like two people doing the same thing, trying to get to the gold, and one person gave up right before they hit the gold, while the other person kept persevering through, and they got to it, because it was a long path for the both of them. But one person, chose to say, all right, forget it. I'm not gonna make it, and I think that kind of resonates with this quote of, like, if you work at your situation every day, eventually you will get to where you need to be, because once you get started on your path and working towards your goal, once you get to it, like, you keep going and you keep adding to it, and you keep making accomplishments, and you keep taking steps. The more steps that you take, you're not going to want to go backwards. So your only choice is to go forward. And so you're going to, even if you don't see exactly what day or what time this thing is going to come about, you do have the light at the end of the tunnel, where that you're in the right tunnel, you're on the right path. It's going to take time, and you have to just keep working at it, because it's the process and a preparation. You're preparing yourself for it. You're being prepared for it. And the journey is your life. I like that, because life is a journey. We have an idea of what we want to do in our lives and where we want to go, what goals we want to accomplish. But at the end of the day, we don't have a map or, a future type of thing to know, like, what exactly is going to happen in our lives. So that's the thing that we have to do, is trust the process, trust God, the universe, and enjoy the journey along the way. Like I said, there are times when everyone has done it, where you've gotten distracted, you stare off the road, and you're like, okay, how did I end up in this, and how am I going to even get back? And then, sometimes you might say, oh man, like, I messed up. But you can never, I feel like I said this a lot of times on other episodes, you can never mess up what God has for you. Like, we as humans, there's a quote too that I have saved in my phone, like, God already knows the mistakes that you're gonna make, and they're forgiven. It's just, he's still gonna push you, like, all right, yeah, you did that, all right, we're not gonna sit here and dwell on it, just keep going, because at the end of the day, God wants to get you to where what he has for you and where he wants you to be. So he's not going to sit there and tally up your mistakes or make you pay for it. I feel like sometimes we as humans think that too, that we have to pay for our mistakes and stuff, and we're human. He knows that we're going to make mistakes. That's the whole point, as long as you learn from your mistakes. Now when you don't learn from your mistakes and you just la la la, like everything is all whatever, then that's when you're gonna probably face some consequences, and you have to learn some life cycles or life lessons. But no one is born knowing everything. Nobody knows everything. If you knew everything, you wouldn't be here. That's the whole point of being here, is that you're here to learn. So yeah, the journey is your life, so enjoy it. And if you can enjoy it along the way, the process will become a life well lived. Again, taking the time to enjoy where we are at the moment, not focusing on the past, not focusing on the future. There's a Buddhist kind of quote or something, and it's like, if you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you are basically at peace, you're living in the present. And I love that, because that's true. Like when you live in the past, you get sad, right? Sometimes you think, dang, like if this hadn't happened to me, then this wouldn't where I would be right now. But the whole point is that those things were supposed to happen to teach you and to get you where you are right now. And then if you worry about the future, you're just going to be anxious, because you start to not trust yourself, and you start to not trust your decisions, because you're like, okay, if I do this, will I still get what I'm wanting in the future? Versus just trusting it and going with your intuition. That's another thing, like learning how to trust your intuition, learning how to listen to yourself, listen to, for me lately, what's really been happening for, like, I would say the past few months, for the past few months, I've been seeing a lot of angel numbers. And I know I did an episode on that. Like, I've seen a lot of angel numbers: 1111, 1010, 333, 444, 555, 1212. And I'm trying to think. I feel like those are the ones that I've seen. And when I say months, I'm in like the past couple of months. And it's funny because usually it happens when I'm thinking about something, whether it be like a relationship or a decision I feel like I need to make or something like that. It's always like, and it always happens. I just happen to catch him. And I started to like do a little bit of research on it. And it's like, usually that happens when, like you're thinking about something, and that's the angels like telling you like you're on the right path. And so yeah, hold on, I'm trying to think about why I said that. Oh yes, so yeah, just trusting the journey and enjoying it along the way. That's another thing, like trying to learn how to enjoy where you are. And I know that can be hard because, like I said, like I know for me, people my age, and just like being a woman, and like, having these certain desires for yourself, and there are like a lot of pressure. There's a pressure from friends. Well, I don't know about friends, but maybe like definitely from like older people, like they want to, anything. Why are you not married yet? Why you don't have a kid yet? Why you don't have a house yet? Stuff like that. And they're probably not doing it with ill intent. It's just, they want those things for you in your life. And it's just like, you have to really be okay with where you are and trust that those things are coming. It's just you need to be doing, clearly God wants you to be doing something else beforehand, before that gets there, and it'll happen for you at the right time. So, trust that'll happen. Don't lose faith in that. And, enjoy your time for now. Even if it's like, you're single, it doesn't have to be a woe is me type of season. It's a season to build a better relationship with yourself, a better relationship with your family and with your friends and with God, and work on you. And I know it's easy for people to say that. Like I low-key kind of don't like when people do that. Like, oh, you're single, like just love on yourself. Like, okay, clearly I love myself, but like I don't, it's it's annoying because it's like people, you can't tell someone that, if that makes any sense. Like, obviously, well, not obvious, but yes, it's important to love on yourself, but you can do that. You're going to do that for the rest of your life, you know? Like, basically, I'm saying it's not a bad thing to want to be in a relationship. It's not a bad thing to want to be ready for that. It's just, if it happens, it happens. If it hasn't happened yet, then it's not the right time. And you need to just be patient and trust that, maybe there's something else you need to do beforehand that might get in the way. Because if you're like, a really person who, when you're in a relationship, you're so devoted to the relationship, that might distract you from finishing some other goals that you have to do for yourself before you even meet your person, So I feel like that is what single life teaches you too, to just enjoy the process and like where you are by yourself, and travel, go out with friends or by yourself or something, and just enjoy your time. Because at the end of the day, I guess it would be different if you knew, like, okay, in year 2022, in the month of January, whatever, I'm gonna meet my future boyfriend, husband, whatever, or girlfriend, wife, whatever. But you don't, right? So we don't know when that person's coming. So if you're gonna sit there and keep, okay, I'm just gonna wait for this person, like, you can't do that. You can't put your life on hold waiting for something to come about when you don't even know when it's gonna come. And that person doesn't want to meet you when you're just sitting there at the door waiting for them, because it's gonna be like, whoa, that's a lot of pressure. It's better to be living your life and enjoying yourself, and you just happen to meet that person, and then they can add to that. So again, that's like trusting the journey and enjoying your time and just letting things be, and learning along the way. Like I said, you're gonna make mistakes. That's fine. It's actually, it would be alarming if you weren't making mistakes, because if you're not making mistakes, that means you haven't really learned your lesson and you're playing it safe. And playing it safe is not going to get you to where you need to be and where you want to be. When you play it safe, you're playing yourself, because you're not giving yourself a chance to take a risk to learn a new thing, a new lesson. And yeah, you might get hurt, but you might end up having, the time of your life. So it's worth it. And at the end of the day, you don't know how long you're going to be here on earth. So live your life, as best as you can, So, I'm trying to think what else I want to say about this. So I feel like that's pretty much it. Like, your path is individual, and I want people to practice more breathing, compassion, acceptance, less shame and judgment. Don't compare yourself to people on Instagram or your friends or whoever else. Don't let family or whoever pressure you or feel like you are not where you need to be, and that somehow equates to you never getting to where you're supposed to be. Like, everyone has their own timetable that no one is actually aware of. So like I said, you're not late, you're on time. The process was preparation. So if you're going through the process right now, you're being prepared. You're on the oven, and God is heating you up. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather be on the oven getting heated up for a while than just popped in the microwave, hurry up and getting it, and then it fizzles out and I go back to being cold. And then I got to go back in the microwave. Like, all that back and forth, the preparation. I don't want to be prepared multiple times. I'd rather just be one time, and even if it takes a little bit longer, at least I know once I get to where I want to be, when I'm heated up, I will remain so, and I will be able to get everything that I want for myself. So, if you resonate with that and you're feeling like I just want these things to happen, or you're feeling like you're late, you're not late, you're on time. Trust the process. It's preparation, and yeah, the journey is your life, so enjoy it, and don't compare yourself to others. And the more time that you give yourself, and more patience that you give yourself, and acceptance and compassion. Give yourself compassion. I know that I know for me, it's easy for me to be compassionate to others, but sometimes it's not always easy for me to be compassionate to myself, because I have like so many things that I'm trying to do for myself. And I'm definitely being taught that right now in this season, to be more compassionate to myself and to give myself credit for things that I do, and where I'm at, and know that this is not the end, and I have other things that I'm going to be accomplishing and doing. So it's just taking my time with it and trusting that I'm being prepared. And I'm on the oven. I'm on the oven. I'm not trying to be in the microwave. I'm not trying to be a microwave dinner. I'm not going to do that. I want to be the full course meal. You feel me? I want to be the filet mignon. So anyway, I hope that this episode was helpful to listeners. It was helpful to me. I helped myself. And I'm still thinking about what the title will be, to be honest. But I hope that everybody has had a great week, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Sunday and begin the week on a positive note. Take your time. Tonight there is, I believe, a versus of SWV versus Escape. Pose comes back tonight, and I don't know. I think that's it. Snowfall is over, unfortunately. I'm kind of sad about that, but Franklin, he's a real G. He's about to. There's gonna be another season. And yeah, it's pretty nice outside today. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but it's almost summer, sorta, kinda. I don't know. I'm trying to think of positive things, but I hope that you guys, like I said, I hope this resonated with you. Just practice having some compassion for yourself. Whether it be like positive affirmations, look in the mirror, smile, give yourself a hug, I don't know, take a nap, something to make you feel happy and relax, relate, release. Everything will be okay. So yeah, that's all I got for you. This is Chanel. I'm the host of Black Hippie Lounge. Meditate, manifest, invest in you. And I hope that you guys have a great day.